These are 10 DMT experiences completely shattered reality on Joe Rogan Podcast. In MMA Show 97, Henry Cejudo shares DMT experience with Mike Tyson.
That's sage.
What you got here? You smoking this, Joe?
No, bro. No, you light it up to kill the demons in the room. This Native American lady gave me this. She came in to talk to us about. I got in this long kick of reading about Native American history.
Yeah.
They actually, a lot of them refer to themselves as American Indians. But, and then this lady came in and was educating me on a lot of the issues and brought me some sage to clear out all the bad spirits.
Yeah, no, I believe in a lot. I believe in a lot of these rituals and whatnot. Actually, not too long ago, I was actually with Uncle Mike.
Yeah, you told me that.
With Mike Tyson and.
Just get rid of demons right now, bro. Yeah. Demons, be gone.
Don't start shaking back there, man.
No, we'll be all right. Jamie's no demon. You never know.
Yeah, but I was able to, because, as you know, Mike has always talked about the toad,
Yes.
And I believe you've done the toad, too.
Yeah, what the toad is, what you're referring to, is 5-methoxy-dimethyltryptamine that's excreted by the toad's skin. They take this type of toad, I forget the name of the toad, but they get it excited and excrete this stuff from its skin onto glass, and then they leave that glass out in the sun, and it dries, that excretion dries, and then you scrape it up with a razor blade, and then you smoke that stuff. Or you could just get a synthetic version of it. Colorado river toad, that's what it is. Sonoran desert toad.
Yeah, it's Sonoran.
Yeah. And you can find the center of the universe through the excretions of this toad's body.
Oh, my God. It's a trip, Joe. It's a trip. So, anyways.
Have you done anything before this? Before you did this, have you any experiences with psychedelics?
Yeah, I've done I've done mushrooms, and obviously I smoke, which I don't know where all the
weed?
Mary Jane is, but.
It's right here, bro. You want some? Come on, you're retired.
Yeah, why not, man?
Come on, Jeff Nowitzki. Leave him alone. Nowitzki actually wanted everybody to be able to. He's one of the first guys to say it's nonsense. It's not a performance enhancer. Although with Nick Diaz, I think it might be.
Yeah.
I think with Nick Diaz, it might actually be a performance enhancer. I really think so, man. When he fought Gomi, they said he had to have gotten high. He had so much weed in his system when they tested him that he had to have gotten high right before the fight.
Yeah. Light that up, Joe. You puff, pass, or?
Of course.
So I'm going to share my story with you, Joe, and I want you to share yours with me.
Okay.
What type of leaf is this?
Well, that's tobacco on the outside, so it's a blunt, and then the inside it's the weed. I get this from Speed Weed. Shout out to my man Gino.
So anyway, so check this out. You imagine doing the toe with somebody like Mike?
I get high with Mike and I got nervous. Just when I'm nervous when I meet him. Look, he was one of my heroes. When I was a kid, Mike Tyson was the fucking man. I mean, in a way that it's hard for people to convey today, to understand what a cultural figure Mike Tyson was in like 1986. It's hard to convey. No one's gonna understand. Youngest ever heavyweight champion. Knocks out Trevor Berbick when he's 20 years old.
Yeah, he was the same guy that beat Ali, right?
Trevor Berbick beat Ali late in his career when it was real sad. It was a real sad fight. It was a real sad fight.
But it's touching. Remember when Ali went in the ring and gave Mike like a little pep talk?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Mike went out there and knocked that dude out in the first round.
Yeah.
Priceless.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali's like, fuck this dude up for me, will you?
Yeah. Well, but anyways, to get back to that, Joe, so
yeah.
I've actually been shadowing Mike Tyson for like the last. I'm good friends with his manager Rob Hickman, and just the stuff that they're doing at Tyson Ranch, man, is it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it's really cool, right?
Yeah, they're bringing medicine to the world. So Mike, I've been on his podcast. He's always talked about the toad. I was like, all right, so I became good friends with. I call him Uncle Mike, man, because he's just, he scolds me a lot. Every time he sees me, he's always, he'll compliment me, but then he'll scold me at the same time. So he always talked about the toad. I'm just like, well, let's do it then, Mike. Let's do it, Uncle Mike. So he was like, man, dude, you sure you want? I'm like, yeah, man, you've been talking about it for a minute. So So we go on this, they have this whole real nice settlement with rituals or whatnot. And we go out to Antigua, which is an island off the Caribbean. We have I forget what they're called, the person that
shaman.
Yeah, shaman. I'm sorry. And he's out there, and Mike goes first. So imagine this: Mike Tyson does it. Mike Tyson's he's doing it. He's going a bit crazy, man. Because a lot of it, what that does is it brings out a lot of your, as you say, you open up the stage, a lot of your demons, or a lot of things that you probably been holding on to for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm seeing Mike over here twist and turning and kind of talk about a lot of. I don't want to share that stuff, but. Talk about a lot of his past, man. And as me, as you said, he's an idol, he's a legend. That's the way I look at Mike too. So I'm over here hearing him. I'm almost like tripping out, but at the same time intrigued. Because so then I go up and I do it, and man, it took me to especially out of retirement here, man. Like I almost kind of somewhat wanted answers. I was hoping that it would give me, okay, man, this is like the path or whatnot. And it took me to my mom's, like, your mom's like first love, man. And it showed me like in a story, like, almost like in a movie, how I was born, how my mom had me, how by the time I was 8 years old, like I had my sister, so I was no longer the youngest, how my mom kind of like, and in all fairness, kind of somewhat pushed to the side, leaving home at the age of 17 and substituted my mom's love for self-fulfillment, wrestling, mixed martial arts. And it brought me back to a little kid when I was maybe 4 or 5, when I would cry to my mom. Because I remember as a kid we would go from LA to New Mexico, like in Greyhounds. And I remember stopping at McDonald's and things like that. But to me, as a kid, you don't know you're poor. But what that did is that brought me back to the person that created me. That brought me back to my mom's love, man. So it resurrected something in me. And I was crying. I was asking for like forgiveness. I was speaking in Spanish. Mom, perdóname. Like, Mom, forgive me.
Wow.
It was something. It was something scary in some ways, because it does. It takes you out of your body. Like it's almost like you're in Judgment Day and you're the one that's being convicted and you're the judge too. And it's telling you, but it's giving you this certain peace. It's like you're so dead that you're alive.
Whoa.
It's a trip, Joe. I don't know which ones you had, but this is what I can share and what I can experience. Like it was cool, man, because I was able to do it with special people. I did it with Kelvin. Like we all did. Like it was already formally planned. I know my brother back there, my mentor, probably pissed at me because they look out for me a lot. But man, it was something that, as an adult, you have the rights to make these decisions and share if it's good. And I felt like the Toad was probably one of the best things that's happened to me. Like, honestly, because it makes you realize and reflect on what truly matters.
I think there's a fear of it just because it's illegal. I really think that's it. And it should be respected. It's very dangerous in that sense that it could not that it could do harm to you physically if it's the real deal. It's not going to do harm to you physically. Your body has it in it. Your body knows what to do with it. It's one of the reasons why it's such a quick trip. Your body knows how to bring that stuff back to baseline very quickly. That's why it's only like a 15-minute trip.
Yeah.
But it's not bad for you all the time. I think it's like it's a really powerful thing it's got to be respected. It could fuck you up if you're not ready. If you have some distorted versions of the world that you're operating under. For me, one of the things that made me feel like right away, one of the first things was realizing how much of like the way I talk about things is like calculated. I was trying to figure out, like, I would say things in a way that I wanted people to say, ooh, he phrased that cool. Like I would try hard to impress people with the way I was saying things. And I was realizing that as I was trying to describe the trip after it was over. I was like, that's interesting. Like, so that probably leads to a disconnect between me and someone who's listening, because it's not 100% what's going on in my head. It's at least a little bit showmanship and bullshit. And it made me realize it in that moment. Like, and I think it probably made me a better everything. Probably made me a better comedian. Probably made me a better podcaster.
Oh, so it's been a minute. When did you do this for the first time?
The first time I did it was early 2000s. So I guess we're looking at like 2002-ish. somewhere around then.
Yeah.
That was like the first time I did it. Last time I did it was about 2 years ago. But the last time I did it, I did the other kind, the NN dimethyltryptamine. Actually, maybe a little less than 2 years ago. It was NN dimethyltryptamine, which is, that's the different version. That's the version of it that's in ayahuasca. That's the version of it. There's a bunch of different snuffs and different ways that people try to get that stuff into their system. But smoking it is the quickest. Smoking it gets you, you vaporize it, and it gets you right to the center of the universe immediately. And all those things, you know, I think, man, one of the cool things about life, like what you're talking about in your journey as a man, your journey as a champion, your journey to become better and to show what you're capable of. All of this is because no one gets it right. You don't just get it right. Like, you fuck it up and you try to do better and you fail and then you figure out what went wrong and you just constantly analyze whatever you're doing and obsess on it, and you can become better at that thing, and through that you can understand that you can be better at anything. And I think when any kind of psychedelic where you have an opportunity to look at yourself, just really look at yourself accurately, you're not going to like it, but it's going to give you great benefit because it's going to give you're going to be able to see yourself honestly and see whatever those flaws. Don't get mad that you have all these flaws. Just fix them. Just fix them. Do your best to fix them. And you're not going to get it right because ego's still going to come creeping back in your life, and ego's still going to hold on to your legs and drag you down while you're trying to run. You know? That's what it is. Ego's like hanging on your ankles while you're trying to run. Like, come on, stay the same. Yeah. But you can't stay the same and get better. The way you get better is to relax and to realize that, you know, all your fuck ups, all the fails, that's not you. Just because you lost a match doesn't mean you're a loser. You just lost. Like, you should be happy that you got this opportunity to feel terrible. Because through that opportunity to feel terrible, that's where all the growth comes from. If you can survive it. Some people can't survive it, right? We all know those guys that were really good in the gym and they had like 1 or 2 matches or 1 or 2 fights and they just couldn't handle the pressure for whatever reason. They couldn't handle the things that went wrong and they just didn't want to do it anymore. But they could have been like a world beater. You know, everyone knows that guy. Yeah. Right? And what is wrong with that guy? Well, that guy's got one aspect of your 2-part thing that you were talking about, heart and ability, right? He's got one aspect. He's got the ability. But he's got a missing part, and he doesn't want to look at it. Because if he wanted to look at it, he would concentrate entirely on that, and he would get better at that. But it's hard. Yeah. It's hard to look at yourself. Psychedelics let you look at yourself. Like, hey, stupid, look at you. Remember the last time I did DMT, there was a string of jokers, like jesters with the bells on, dancing in front of me going like this. Fuck you! Just openly mocking me. And I was like, oh, that must be what I need. I must need that. I'm like, that's good. That's good to see.
Yeah, it's definitely an ego check, man, big time.
Dissolves it,
man. Like with Mike, like he loves it, dude, and he's he owes it to the toad. You know what I'm saying? Like that said that he said that's been a big reason why he's changed his life. You know, Mike wasn't doing so well until he tried this, and he talks about it all the time on his podcast. So
it gives you an opportunity to shift.
It's healed drug addicts. I mean, drug addicts have gone from doing all kinds of crazy where they tried the toad and they completely just left everything. Guys that they left like almost like a dead man walking to, hey, he's alive again. He's here with us.
Episode 1093. Joe Rogan, Owen Benjamin, and Kurt Metzger on DMT.
Yeah, like if this was like on a spaceship, you would think it would be like that. Look at that. If that was on a spaceship, etched into the side of the spaceship, you'd be like, holy shit, it's a fucking alien language. Look, I mean, I don't know what any of those things are. I don't know what one of those numbers is. I don't know what the fuck those words are, those letters. That's an alien language. That's, to me, almost more alien than a lot of Asian languages. That looks crazy.
Well, that's a reason to kind of doubt that somebody's translating it right. You know, like it's just like, oh, you looked at that gibberish and you saw that.
Well, scholars, you know, the whole thing with that is that these ancient languages, like all these stories came from these ancient languages. Like if you go way, way, way back to like ancient Sumer, like the Epic of Gilgamesh, there's all these Noah's Ark similarities. It's all There's a lot of stuff in all these ancient stories. It's all probably points to some real shit that happened.
For sure.
But along the way, just like what you're talking about with social justice warriors and how they behave like it's a religion, there's like a natural compulsion for people to be on a group and have that group have a very clear ideology.
People have to work their way up to atheism if they want it, because that's like almost a luxury, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I don't know how to just... but I'll tell you what, I will say, the DMT shit... I did get like more of a, oh yeah, there's more than this.
There's something else there.
And it's crazy because I read about that shit in high school. I read some article about that guy that is the big DMT guy.
Terrence McKenna? Yeah,
because I think he projects a lot of his own horseshit into it. But that stuff
that McKenna does, or the
McKenna just let me tell you, when I never felt a thing that felt so much like not making me hallucinate, but like it was taking away a hallucination.
Yes.
And that is there's something so terrifying about that, but it's also like, wow, that's great. Like, and you feel like there has to be, just based on the shit you would see, even if it's just shit in your head, you're like, why would that even be in my head?
It's entirely possible that whatever the fuck consciousness is can pass from this stage into another stage. And the only reason why I would hesitate to say that's exactly what happens is because there's no proof one way or another. But it's
all that pineal gland shit is not proven. They don't know that DMT comes in.
I can't handle anymore.
They do now. Yeah, they do now.
Really?
The Cottonwood Research Foundation, they did a series of tests with rats, and they proved that live rats have DMT produced by the pineal gland.
Really?
Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that humans do too, but they're pretty sure they do.
Did you like?
They also know that your lungs produce it and your liver produces it. That's a fact.
Really?
So your body's producing DMT, 100%.
Did you know that? Or did you like those H.P. Lovecraft kind of horror stories?
Oh, I love those things.
And there's a movie made out of one of them. It's all about his pineal gland. He's taking something that makes his pineal gland swell up.
Which one is that? What movie is that?
It stars the guy from Reanimator, but it's not. It's not Reanimator.
I'm feeling it now. I kind of remember what you're talking about.
But I'll tell you the thing is DMT is the creep. I still don't think creepy because it's totally worth doing. But the thing that's, whatever people say they meet entities, right? But I don't know if that shit is meeting entity. But I'll tell you the thing that just sticks with me that I'm like, how in the fuck is that possible? Is the shapes that I could see, or I was well aware that they were a bit more than 3-dimensional shapes. And it's so crazy to look at that and perceive it. And I'm like, how on earth could I perceive this shape? And when I can't, and you can't come back with it, like, you know what I mean?
Well, you know
like
how you see it though in someone's art? Like, have you ever seen Alex Gray's art?
Yeah,
you see
it's awesome.
No.
You haven't seen it?
No, what is that?
Pull up Alex Gray. He's a psychedelic artist. I mean, all of his stuff is basically tryptamine-based art.
And is it going to not be horseshit? Because sometimes they're horseshit.
No. He's brilliant. His stuff's fucking...
Because that is something.
His stuff's fucking amazing.
Oh, yeah, that thing.
It's for Tool.
Yeah, but that's one of them. But he draws the covers for Tool albums. There's a ton of them, like that one. That one in specific. That is DMT.
That's very DMT.
That is DMT.
Wow, that is hardcore DMT.
Hardcore DMT. When you do DMT, you see that. And you see that in a way where it's so much more spectacular than anything you ever see under normal consciousness.
Is your body there? Like, are you
It's not a body thing. You're not thinking of
but
your body. Your
yourself.
eyes are closed.
I mean, I'm myself.
Yeah, you're yourself.
Like, you look around?
You're yourself,
dude,
but
if you
you're
open your
very
eyes,
vulnerable.
here's what's crazy. So if you close your eyes, it's like they're open somewhere else. And then when you open your eyes, you see reality overlaid over this.
Tell me this one didn't influence the Egyptians. Click on the one your cursor's on.
No,
tell me that didn't influence the Egyptians.
What, this painting or the?
No, these kind of tryptamine
well, did they have that,
images.
Did they have DMT?
100%. Yeah, there was one of the things that John Anthony West did was he was going over the temple in Man.
Yeah.
The temple in Man is one of the structures. It's in Egypt. Mm-hmm. And it shows different parts of it are supposed to represent different corridors of the body, like different chakras of the body. Uh-huh. And that there was some evidence that the eye of Horus is really the pineal gland.
Oh, really?
And that's what that symbol is. Like, see if Google pineal gland eye of Horus. They think that they're so similar in the way they're shaped. It's entirely possible that it's a very alternative thing. But look how it looks, how the thing looks on the right, the actual pineal gland, and look at the eye on the left.
Whoa.
Yeah. See that wing off the side and the way it drops down right from the eyeball? Boy, that's fucking similar. It's entirely possible that they figured that out somewhere along the line, that through yogic breathing methods or some sort of psychedelic drugs they found that they were achieving a hallucinogenic state, and they were able to somehow or another isolate where that state is being initiated. And if it's being initiated endogenously by your body, like through psychedelic breathing, that's probably where it's being produced.
Now listen, I don't want to sound like an Amy Schumer defender, but that looked coincidental to me.
Yeah, it could be.
Parallel thought.
It could
That
be.
look, I think certain patterns repeat
close.
over and over again.
But that pattern is pretty fucking close. You might be right. It might be coincidental. But the fact that a straight line drops down right before the eye showed again, the straight line drops down right below the eye.
But they didn't
and
know
then
what
the
the
other thing
fucking
hooks
brain
to the
did
left.
in Egypt. That's the
No,
thing.
they did surgery on people in Egypt.
Yeah, but
Let's see, look at the thing on the right.
First of all, I thought Egypt thought the mind was in the heart, and that's why they pulled the useless brain out through the nose when they mummified you. Like you're
How do
telling
we know
me
their intent? You know what I mean? Like, how do
because
we
the embalming techniques.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean they didn't respect the
stuff
brain.
you kept. No, they didn't. Look.
Well, I'm
look it
sure
up.
they didn't know everything about the human body the way
That's
people
what I'm
know
saying.
today.
Why would they attach significance to something in the brain if they don't think that's
Because
where...
I think through psychedelic drugs. I think when they were doing these heavy psychedelic drugs, which, by the way, were absolutely being used by then by tons of
that
cultures.
I could believe, but
Tons
that I
of
could believe.
cultures.
Listen, because dude, this is the thing where that really blew my mind because I was looking.
You don't want to even believe rumors. That's what's going on again.
No, I looked. Do you ever look at somebody while you're
You
on
won't be
DMT,
tricked
like you
again.
smoke it?
No, I've always kept my eyes closed.
Okay, well,
the
I
Who.
did that
I won't be
2 times.
fooled
Close my
again.
eyes, and 1 time open my eyes and look at somebody, and they had 6 arms like a Hindu.
Yeah, somebody else
And
was just saying
I might have
this.
been telling you this at the comedy store.
You told me at the green room.
What
of
is
the belly
your
room.
time perception gets broken
Yeah.
down, and that's the craziness. And so then motion looks like sick,
Like
but it,
like Shiva.
it looked like a Hindu thing, and I'm like,
Yeah,
wow. I
that's
imagine
where it
being on that
comes from.
stuff, and you see
Yeah.
something. I mean, it looked that looked to me so much like a vision from DMT.
Yeah.
Those 6-arm kind of gods.
Well, dude, I collect that kind of art, like Buddhas and shit like that, like this kind of shit, because I saw this. I saw this image, this
No.
exact image. I mean, this has a third eye and everything. A
Right.
sculptor made this for me. I don't remember homeboy's
Really?
name. Yeah, I wish I could remember it right now, but I don't. But yeah, sculptor made that for me based on this vision that I had, high on DMT. I saw an infinite number of those.
Really?
I saw one hovering here, and then in every direction out from him, there was an infinite number of those, and they were all hovering and vibrating around me.
So it's like
Wow.
fractal. Is it like fractal?
Oh, it's 100% fractal.
What do you
it's
think-
geometric.
What do you think? What do you think? Having done it, like, what do you think? Like, what do you think now of DMT after? You know, I think I saw just a couple things, but I don't know how long ago they were of you talking about it with people. But what's your opinion of it now? As like, you know, what you're seeing.
Well, it could be anything. I mean,
Yeah.
it definitely could be some sort of an insane hijacking of your sensory nervous system, and
Right.
it produces this spectacular psychedelic effect that's so profound, this hallucinogenic effect that's so profound that it literally is like a transcendent experience and changes your life. It's
It
totally
felt like
possible.
that to me.
It's totally possible that it's just a chemical thing. What's also
But that
possible,
also- yeah.
possible is that life itself, that whatever
Yeah.
the fuck life is, and especially whatever the fuck intelligent life is not understood. What consciousness is not understood. And this idea that things can only exist in this realm, that's not proven. Also the fact that when those quantum physicist guys start breaking down the nature of reality and they come up with, I don't know how the fuck they do this, I'm just talking out of my ass, but they come up with the idea that there's 11 dimensions.
Right.
And that they literally, I mean, and this is all changing and constantly evolving and moving, and they're constantly adding to this. It is entirely possible that there's a bunch of other shit that's around us all the time that's just not here, and we
Yeah,
don't
of
have
course.
access to it. And when you do DMT, whomp, you go into that other place.
That's
It's
what's
entirely
so fucking
possible.
unsettling, dude. It's like, it's not like you're going, it's like the shit's here.
Well,
And-
that's why you, as
Yeah.
a skeptic, it's very important to hear from you. Like a guy
Oh,
like
it felt,
you.
yeah. I'll tell you what, because I drew a shitty diagram of it. But this is what I felt. This is what it feels like if you ever do it. Like this little point. Let's say this little point is you. This is what I
Right.
felt like. And these lines I drew, that's like space time. And you're this little point that gets stabbed into space time. And all this shit this is all the shit that makes you. Like, it forms a point. It's like closing your eyes and looking at all of the shit
all the
that's being
things.
Cross section of your being.
like everything being focused into making. If you could like just reverse look at it,
Dude,
it feels like that.
I always feel like it's lessons. I always feel like it's lessons. I always feel like it's time to go to school. Sit down. Here's what's going on. One of the last ones, more profound ones, was a bunch of jesters that were all giving me the finger.
Really?
They were all circling around me like, give me the finger.
They're like,
"Fuck
who named you?
That
the
was
joke
Twitter.
police?"
No, you know
trying
what?
to teach you about Twitter.
It's teaching if you're tense, and if
60
you're
Jeselniks,
reacting
all.
negatively to this jester giving you the finger, like how do you feel of yourself? Are you in a constant defensive mode? And then when I sort of relaxed myself, they started wagging their finger back and forth, like, "Yep, that's it,
Wow,
it."
that's
It
cool.
was very, very strange. These things that you see but you can't define are constantly changing. So if you try to like say, "Oh, it looked like a jester," it probably did for a few seconds. For a few seconds, it looked like a jester, and then it imploded and became stars, and then it sucked in and became geometric patterns, and then became neon-colored worms that were making love to each other in a giant infinite bundle of yarn. Like, it becomes weirder and weirder shit all the time.
Is it hard to remember when you're done?
It's almost impossible. Even me saying it,
I
I'm kind of
remember,
full of shit.
having
I'm
done
kind
it
of full of
now.
shit because I don't totally remember what I saw. I remember what I remember to write down. I remember what I repeated. So I'm like going back on like my repeated versions of what I saw. But I remember like flashes of the intense, profound nature of the experience.
Is there emotions
Flashes
to
of
it? Like it's
yes,
unraveling.
dude. And when I came out of it the first time, this was on New Year's the first time I did it, and I fucking, I guess I was like weeping. But when I came out of it, because you just suddenly are awake, and I had like, but I was so out of it, it was like not. I went from weeping to like, oh hey, what's up, like. And because I'd been staring at some crazy thing that would like look so beautiful to me, but it was like that. It was like coming out of a dream, I guess, almost.
What's that McKenna quote that I think what I'd be scared of is unearned wisdom? I think McKenna said something like be wary of unearned wisdom, where I don't know if I can handle looking at something that intense.
I was really in a low feeling state when I did it, and I didn't give a fuck, so I wanted to do it.
You pick up the slack. You know, that unearned wisdom thing, I think I know what he's saying, and I think there's a real problem with people acting profound when they just learned something an hour ago.
Are you saying I'm not a shaman?
No. But
I'm not a qualified shaman
There's
now?
a thing that people enjoy doing, and it's like jizzing out their knowledge.
Yeah.
You know?
Thought jizz?
And a lot of that is unearned knowledge. Like, there's a lot of people that don't really have a full, including me. I've
My
done it many
mind
times.
balls are so full.
Not having a full understanding of the topic at hand.
Life
And you
jizz.
just jizz it out.
Yeah,
gotta
Unearned
jizz it,
knowledge.
man.
But you look, for sure, you learn a lot about yourself when you do those experiences. I learned a lot about myself. Learned a lot about how I interact with people. I saw negative thoughts like expressed as like this dark green and black, like twisted sort of pattern. And then when my thoughts went positive, it blossomed like the most beautiful flowers you can imagine. It was crazy. It was literally a lesson in thinking toxically. And then, and this is probably like 2008-ish, somewhere around then. That was this particular experience that literally changed who I am. Literally changed how I talk to people, literally changed how I feel about people.
Yeah.
Watching a negative thought being expressed as this dark pattern. And then the positive thought, I just let it go like, oh, I see, I'm doing it to myself. And then boom.
Right, yeah.
And then you just relax and enjoy. Like, this is so beautiful. And because you're looking at something so beautiful, that feeling of seeing beauty makes it more beautiful. And it's just getting more, and like tears are rolling down my eyes. It was a stunning experience.
Dude, honest to God, it's easier to do that now besides that, but I know what you mean. Like,
I wish
that's
I
the
could
feeling.
remember seeing it, though. I remember it happened, and I remember the dark green and black, but I remember so little of what I actually saw. It's a total recreation in my mind.
Yeah.
Which is a real problem with memory. It's a real problem with regular memory. Forget about something as spectacularly unique and odd as a psychedelic experience. But just regular memory. I mean, I try to think of what I did yesterday. I know what I did.
Did you ever get the information like the last time I did it? This is what really blew me away, is because my girlfriend was saying, I won't forget. And by the way, I forgot immediately.
It's like a joke. When you think of a joke, you have to write it down.
You're supposed to talk into a microphone, like talk into a recorder, like right away when you get out, and then try to decipher that.
Mostly I feel like I can't talk. I mean, usually I feel like I can't talk. But
as soon as you can, though, what you should do is just use the voice app on your phone, and as soon as you can talk, hit record, and just ramble. First of all, you're going to go, oh my God, I'm a fucking moron. Because it's going to sound, if you're sober, it's going to sound stupid.
Dude, that's my favorite. Like ayahuasca, it's an inner journey and better. Like, yeah, on the inside. On the outside, you're just puking and projectile shit.
Yeah.
Gibbering like an idiot.
That's a metaphor for Twitter.
Episode number 1283 with Russell Brand wants to understand DMT experiences.
But like, I'm interested as well with this. I keep bringing up the subject of DMT. Like, what? I guess what I want to know about is like, because I'm, obviously a person in recovery. I don't drink, I don't take drugs, haven't done for a long time, and I recognise for certain people that they can't do it safely. Psychedelics and hallucinogens seem to me exist in a realm outside of that because they're not pleasure seeking. Right. They're like, seem to me like it's a spiritual portal. However, I'm a crafty bastard when it comes to this stuff, and I'm always looking for an in. When I see your cannabis treasure trove over there, I mean, that is some, as you said, like Raiders of the Lost Ark stuff, and I'm holding in my hand now the CBD rich cannabis soft gels, clasping it, so like I'm
So you're worried that is a gateway, that CBD, which is not necessarily psychoactive?
As long as it's not psychoactive.
It's not, but it does help you with anxiety. It helps a lot of people because it alleviates a lot of inflammation, which tends to have a corresponding impact on your anxiety.
Hold on. So this says here 11 milligrams of THC. Does that mean?
It says THC.
It does say that at the bottom.
It's probably a 1-to-1.
Is this a 1-to-1?
Might be, or it's like an 18-to-1.
Or 11. It says there's an 11 and a 1.
There's a couple different ones in that box.
Oh, I almost gave you the wrong one.
Joe, what's next?
Jesus, glad you read.
A bag of smack.
Don't take that.
This one goes
Don't
back
take
in.
This one. This one's way more powerful. That's
Really?
1-to-1. Yeah.
Well, you do seem very relaxed and free from anxiety.
Feel great.
I will say that. But what I suppose I'm interested in, because listen, I'm meditating I meditate a lot. I'm doing all these things. I'm experiencing transcendent states. I'm experiencing what it's like to not feel attached to my identity as Russell. Who are you before you are Russell? Who are you before you identify yourself as a man in England? Who are you? Who is the person? Who is the consciousness? Who is the awareness? Now, when I listen to, say, Terence McKenna talking about his experiences in psychedelia at such length and with such lucidity and with so many philosophical connotations, and the way that he uses the information he's getting from hallucinogenic experiences to speculate on how we should organise society, what the implications are for freedom, his refusal to accept that there are certain kind of experiences that should be prohibited, that it's ridiculous that adults should be prevented from having that. I'm fascinated, but I'm also, I suppose, part of my bias is I love anything that gets me out of my head. I feel a tremendous sense of relief, whether it's through meditation or even sport or sex, being relieved of the burden of the constantly thinking mind. But when I hear like those vivid descriptions of DMT realm or ayahuasca realm, I think something in me hungers for that, hungers for it.
Do you worry that you're trying to get intoxicated? You worry that you're trying to find a loophole?
Yeah, because I am doing that. I'm looking for a loophole. It's like I'm going around like a sort of a trash lawyer looking for some way that I could get into. Is there? Hold on a second. What about this clause?
Trash lawyer. That's a great way of putting it. Yeah, I mean, I know people that have problems with addiction that have done psychedelics and didn't have a problem. But I'm sure some people have had problems, and I don't know about them. DMT is interesting in that, first of all, it's very quick. The experience is only about 15 minutes, 20 minutes max. And it's not necessary, it's not an intoxicant in the way that you would think about traditionally. You are still you in the face of this experience. And I think it's some sort of a chemical gateway. That's what I think. I think there's a gateway in your mind that can lead to some other dimension that's probably there all the time.
If there is a omnipresent, continually existing realm that human beings aren't accessing because of the particular biochemical formulation of consciousness as it is in this point in our evolution, and that we can get there. And it seems I've heard Terence McKenna say, it's more real. It's more real. There's stuff in there.
Yes.
And excuse me. And when he talks about them beings, like that he describes as self-dribbling basketballs, creating like Fabergé egg, devices through vibration, and they're telling you to do it.
I never saw that.
I want that.
He's called them machine elves. He's called them all sorts of different things. The way I've described them is they're the geometric patterns made out of love and understanding. That's what they seem like.
So you can look at a geometrical pattern and read meaning into it. It had an emotional quality.
They're made out of something, and they move, they change. Like, they don't stay what they are. They're constantly evolving in front of you into something more and more beautiful. It's very weird.
What did it make you feel?
Like I knew nothing. That was the most profound aspect. Like, all of this stuff that you concentrate on every day is nonsense. And there is some other thing that's connected that's probably influencing this world.
Yeah.
And it's probably what people see when they have near-death experiences, the depictions of the afterlife. I mean, that's probably what it all is.
And religious experiences.
Yeah.
When prophets are talking about, oh my God, I went into this realm.
Sure.
There's these beings. They've told me we're all one. We have to love each other.
Scholars in Jerusalem are connecting Moses' experience with the burning bush to the acacia tree. The acacia tree, which is rich in DMT. The burning bush is what God was to Moses. And that through this burning bush, he came out with these 10 commandments of how people should live their lives. I mean, that easily could have been just a very convoluted sort of translation of a DMT trip.
Certainly. And also, when you think of, certainly there are archetypal images that seem to be repeated throughout ancient cultures and archaic stories that seem to refer to the potential for plant experiences to affect consciousness. Even the Garden of Eden, do not eat of the fruit of the tree of knowledge, that otherwise you will become as gods. You know, like, I sense that. Now, if there is some realm that we can reach through that experience that puts into perspective everything that else we experience on the material realm, and that thing seems to, in your words, be emanating love and understanding while ever changing, completely formless, and communicating love and understanding, I can't help but think that should become our priority, to have a relationship with that realm and to bring about that experience. I don't even mean in a literal way, because even Terence McKenna said there are some people, vulnerable souls, he was probably referring to people like me, that probably shouldn't mess around with that kind of stuff.
I think he was really talking about people with schizophrenia, or people that, which he believed he had, by the way.
Did he?
Yeah, he had some very unique perspectives on schizophrenia and the way people interact with the world itself. I think if we lived in a healthy world, a healthy civilization that had a healthy relationship with psychoactive substances, we'd probably have centers where you would have a legitimate shaman, a medical advisor, and someone would take you through a guided experience. We're doing that now with ketamine. There's a lot of people that are very depressed that are having these physician-controlled ketamine experiences that have had a profound effect on their depression. My friend Neil Brennan's gone through several of them, and he's a comedian, a very funny comedian. So when he was describing it, it was hilarious. He was going to a doctor's office and tripping his fucking balls off. You know, and the doctor's shooting him up with intramuscular ketamine.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and he's having these insane... I go, so you're having psychedelic experience? He's like, oh, yeah. The way he's describing it was really funny. I mean, tripping his fucking balls off in these whatever states that ketamine... I've never experienced ketamine. I don't know what it does. But it's apparently profoundly hallucinogenic. And you have these wild, crazy experiences on it. And for whatever reason, it has a great impact on depression for a lot of people. I think it's a perspective enhancer, but it also does something to rewire the mind.
Well, what some of this suggests is that mental illness is a response to our material conditions, whether that mental illness is schizophrenia, depression, or addiction. It's like people are going, oh, hang on a minute, this isn't how we're supposed to live. I took that ketamine one time towards the end of my using, and as usual, it's not in the right type of environment. You shouldn't be doing stuff like that in a nightclub. You need to be under that shamanic conditions, white coat guy or whoever you nominate as a shaman. But I felt like it was like going into a tunnel made of sound and like having to navigate. I was like, oh shit, I'm still in reality. What am I going to do? Is it as my sort of consciousness becomes a noise instead of a string of words and signs? How am I going to get out of this place? You know. So like for me, it's clear that drugs were never meant to be recreational. In fact, they never were. I was never, hey man, this is crazy. I was always like, I'm in fucking pain. I need some shit to help me out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to probably kill myself.
Yeah.
You know, so like it was a way of holding that stuff at arm's length. So I guess my renewed curiosity around DMT and ayahuasca and other sort of plant medicines, and like, you know, that, do you know Daniel Pinchbeck and like them guys that are sort of part of that? I'm curious about it because I guess I'm continually trying to find a way where someone go, right, here's a way where we can do it, where it's sort of safe. And I've heard of other people in recovery doing it. And when I think about what my motivation is when I hear people talking about and my own recollections of experiencing what felt like God, and by God I mean a sense of oneness, and that my individual identity isn't my real identity, and I'm connected to everything, and love is the most important thing. You know, I want a real experience of that, so that when I'm out in the world, I can remember when I'm driving or when I'm dealing with people, or if I'm buying something, or if I'm feeling inferior or feeling superior, that, like you said, this is bullshit. This is like a secondary reality. Don't let it govern you. You know, as someone that's been seduced by fame, a person like, oh, if I get this part in this film, then everyone's going to love me. Oh, if this stand-up set goes well, you know, like a person that's placed all of my well-being outside of myself, the certain knowledge that there is an inner connection that will take care of you, that's accessible. I guess I'm, you know, hungry to sort of feel it in a way that's like, oh my God, now there is no doubt. So in a sense, it's a crisis of faith, not a crisis of faith.
But there's some psychedelic
faith.
states that you could achieve without taking anything. I mean, you could certainly get there in a flotation tank. You could get there through holotropic breathing. I've never done Kundalini yoga, but apparently the people that get really deep into Kundalini yoga can literally have DMT trips.
Yes.
I know I have friends that have done DMT and have experienced DMT trips through Kundalini. Yeah. But you have to be really dedicated. I mean, there's a lot of time. A lot of time, a lot of energy, and you have to really understand the methods and follow them to a T, and you can achieve these altered states of consciousness that are apparently, you know, not from my personal experience, but from what people tell me, incredibly profound.
Yeah, I mean, I've had comparable things. I guess that what it's, you know, the difference between feeling something that's that overwhelming that gives you no choice.
Yes.
You know, like there's like, it's not like, you know, Kundalini, you've got to do these breaths correctly, you've got to sit there, you've got to try it again.
Have you done it?
Yeah, I've done quite a bit
Have
of
you tripped?
Kundalini. Well, what for me, it feels like what I felt quite a lot yogically and meditatively is a cessation of what I would call my individual consciousness. Like, oh, I'm not this. This isn't who I am. This is just a temporary experience. And all of the value systems of our world are built upon these primal drives in collaboration with a culture that likes to stratify people and manage people and operates like a massive farm where it's easier to keep people together operating in these kind of ways systemically. I've sort of felt rushes of that, like a certain wordless clarity, if you can imagine me having anything that was wordless even for a moment, and in that space, you know, there is great peace. So I suppose what's turning me on about the DMT and ayahuasca thing is that the way it's narrativized, that you're going to meet characters and stuff like that, and it's going to be plain and beyond doubt. You know, because I suppose what prophets do, you know, like whether it, you know, when a prophet returns from whether it's the burning bush or the cave, they come back and they say, all this stuff that you're taking seriously is not real. There's this other realm. Start prioritizing it, or you are going to live in hell on earth. You're going to be governed by your materialistic drives, your sexual drives, and it's going to imprison you. And it turns out that they're right. Yeah. And so, like, you know, I suppose what I'm after, because I'm partly, you know, on a super, like on one level, influenced by what you're doing and how you've created your own, like you created your own business and your own success, like this symbiosis of stand up and the podcast, and like it's become like a sort of a lifestyle brand in a sense, Joe. Like, you know, I'm sort of like, yeah, I don't want to be continually dragged into these like working within institutions. Like, you know, I'm over here doing doing Ballers, and I'm bloody glad to be over here doing Ballers and working with The Rock. And I've got a funny story about that if you want it. Okay. But like, you know, like really what interests me is like, can I dedicate my life to humorously communicating spiritual information and indeed starting to live it? So like, and I suppose what that would mean is, you know, I'm getting better. Like, I'm not a person who's obsessed with porn or sex or drugs or whatever, like, you know, to become it, to become what you actually are, to recognize that we're all different. Your perfect realization of you is going to involve hunting and all of these things that you've created through your gift. And that my perfect version of me is going to, you know, involve all of this. And not everyone needs to build sort of empires or entertainment industries or whatever, but all of us are on some journey to self-actualization and realization, as individual as our fingerprints and as natural as a seed turning into a tree. And if we don't have a way of accessing that, no wonder we're dissatisfied. No wonder there's an opioid epidemic. No wonder people are bored and angry and lonely.
Well, I think what you can do is be yourself. And what you can do is express yourself. And what you can do is constantly seek to improve and grow. And you are doing those things. So if you're saying, can I do these things? Can I be comedic and spiritual? And well, you're doing it.
Right.
So it can be done. So you're doing it. You know, it's all just a matter of whether or not you're satisfied with your progress and where you are and who you are and how you express yourself.
Episode number 2135. Neil Brennan needed 18 months to recover from DMT.
What gives you anxiety?
Well, because I come and give updates on my mental health.
How are you doing now?
I'm doing great. This is what I want to talk about. So all the ayahuasca got me off antidepressants, got me believing in God, in a central creation force. That's not a gender or whatever. It's just a thing. It's just a magnet, basically.
Say it's a woman.
Yeah, please. Wrong podcast.
God's trans.
Yeah. And then the DMT broke me and put me back together. And after the DMT, the 5-MeO that I smoked, it was a year and a half of. I thought it was 8 months of chaos, and then I did an ayahuasca ceremony a year and a half after I'd smoked the DMT. It was the first time back, and I felt the DMT door close. And I was like, it was open that whole fucking time?
What do you mean by that?
Okay, so DMT opened up my brain too much, little too much. Open borders. I was experiencing too much of the universe. I believe like most of being a human being is just like this. We understand that we're a rock in space, but it's just like my fucking house and my apartment and my car and my fucking, the things that I understand, my family. The DMT made it so I could experience like time a lot more. I talked about it last time where I had a hard time watching the screensaver on Apple TV, the mountain ranges and shit. I got a sense, I understood how old they were in a way you're kind of not supposed to.
What do you mean?
When someone goes, hey, can you believe the Rocky Mountains are 700,000 years old? And you go, yeah, that's crazy, but nothing happens. I kind of understood how long a time that was. I was like way out. And then I slowly kind of came back. It took a year and a half.
And what was the negative aspects of being way out?
It was I told somebody I was aiming for God and I missed my stop. And I woke up on a moving train with no conductor and going 1,000,000 miles an hour.
So it was because you were taking in too much information that you hadn't considered before, so it became unmanageable?
The DMT, well, I had the Michael Pollan experience where the DMT took me to when I inhaled it, I went to before the Big Bang. And Michael Pollan said it on here because I looked it up. I was like, where have I heard? And I was like, that's where I was. And so I slowly... The issue was, so the DMT was pretty much a DMT 25-minute, 35-minute experience of like, I was before the Big Bang and my personality kind of came back and I was kind of going like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to be like petty. I'm going to be like a virtuous person. I'm just going to be like, I'm going to remember this God connection and all that stuff. And then a week later, I had a reactivation.
A week later?
Yeah. You know, that thing of like, there's a thing which people have DMT reactivations where
like a flashback.
Yeah, basically what the joke of like an acid flashback. Mm-hmm. I had that and it's common with smoking DMT.
Yeah. And
I had one. So now it's a Sunday in New York. I'm on a coffee date with a woman in this side of my frame. This side is fucking pure whiteness, infinite time. It was harrowing.
So you saw it?
It wasn't like a pure split screen, but it was like energetically kind of a split screen.
Was it something that you thought and you felt in your mind, or was it something you were experiencing visually?
It was, yeah, I shouldn't say that it was, I couldn't see it, but it felt.
You felt it.
Yeah, I felt it.
And so
I would say that I was
because
split between reality, current reality, and then this infinity, sort of energetically.
And was it giving you anxiety?
Yeah, I was so disoriented. I had the thought, like, am I in God's imagination? Shit, that's not great to think when you're just in on a Sunday walking around in New York.
Yeah, especially if you're on a date.
I mean, come on. And
you're
just trying to make something happen. Yeah,
see if this
and like
person's
pay
interested in
attention.
you.
My friend of mine said, she goes, "You just seem really preoccupied." It was like, yeah, I had a lot on my plate. Did you watch that Hemingway documentary on PBS?
No.
It's I recommend it highly.
Yeah.
Ken Burns, Hemingway.
Oh, wow.
Black and white pushes. And I'm not even a Hemingway fan. There were some passages that are like, okay, this is amazing. But there's a part they showed, maybe the Spanish Civil War. He went there. I think it's the Spanish Civil War. And there's a passage from one of his books where he got shot, I believe, and he explained it as like, my spirit came out of my body like a ribbon and then came back in. And I was watching with my friend. I go, hey, can we stop real quick? Because I was like in that world. Like that day, this was the reactivation day. And I was like, yeah, I need to not watch this because I'm in that thing where my spirit can come back. And it was like touch and go. I think I may have said this last time. I would have killed myself, but I knew I'd be going into more of it.
Wow.
So it was like real difficult, like real, like on the edge of my
sanity.
Yeah, I would say, I don't want to say, I don't know what pre-psychotic would be, like pre-diabetic. I feel like I was like, yeah, pretty close. Now, over time, I got better every day, and I got returned to norm, but I was more able to fall in love, more generous. I'm funnier on stage. I get 15% more and bigger laughs, like, because I'm spiritual, and people notice it. Like, hey, what's different about you? On stage is better. This Netflix thing is like my best one because it's just like, I'm lighter. I'm just lighter. So that was hard to deal with, but after the year and a half passed, I'm a better, it's easier to be me. It's easier to deal with me. Everything's improved. So then in the last year or so, every few months, I do MDMA, and like in a sort of not necessarily a therapeutic environment, but like with a spiritual bent. What's happened from the ayahuasca and the DMT is when I've done mushrooms, it's ayahuasca. It's a God connection, or what I perceive as a God connection. When I do MDMA now, it's a God connection. And I've been able to, I believe I've been able to change my, I don't want to say spirit, but I think synapses, whatever, however you want to like, categorize it.
Your operating system.
Yeah. Basically it's like you are getting a new, you get an update, an OS update. And the thing with updates on computers is the computer goes to sleep. Sometimes you're awake for these updates. And you're like, I've literally done the joke on ayahuasca. Like, is there any other system you have? Because this is a little touch and go for me. I appreciate it, and I always get so much from it in the long term. But in the short term, I did ayahuasca, I don't know, in November. And there was a point where I went up to the shaman. I go, hey, I'm like a little close to God right now. Could you just give me like a nudge? Because it's very hard to comprehend, honestly.
Yeah.
It's, as someone who's sort of experimented in this world, like, it's, there are moments that are hard to comprehend. And it's a hard thing to communicate. Like,
It's interesting because I think overall you would say the benefit is worth it, but it's a slippery road.
Yeah, well, it's hard. It's very hard to do. And that's the thing, and we talked about this last time about sort of the mainstreaming of all this stuff. It's Pandora's box, man, because there's a lot of people, I'm whatever I am, intelligent person, an accomplished person, and I felt like I was pretty psychotic for a couple of days. And I would have killed myself if not. Like, that would have been a significant.
So you genuinely thought about killing yourself?
Well, I didn't have a plan or anything, but I was like, this is unbearable. No, it was like, this is unbearable. What I'm in right now, where like I'm on Earth. Am I in God's? What is this? What is any of this?
Yeah.
What is steps? Walking down steps, going, why is any of this? Why am I a person in a whatever? Got through it better. And then the MDMA, I've been able to sort of, I don't know if you want to do software updates or whatever, but it's just made me more. I had one that was really great, which was I did MDMA and I was able to, I'm kind of a grudge holder, Irish Catholic, etc. 1 of 10, you get it. And I was able to just forgive all of my grudges.
Episode number 1608. Joe Rogan questions DMT elves with Michael Malice.
You want to talk about little people? Do you want to talk about the elves?
Elves?
The
Like
elves.
which ones?
The machine elves.
Oh, okay.
Because I want to talk to you about it because I've been doing some research about this.
Research?
Yeah.
What kind of research? Taking drugs?
I would never take drugs.
Oh.
Drugs. If someone's on drugs, they say, what's wrong with him? Is he on drugs?
Right.
Is he a drug addict? You would never want
Crazy
to do that.
people.
Only crazy people do
Yeah.
drugs.
Yeah.
So do you think you've done more to popularize DMT than anybody else? Do you think that these elves are real?
I don't know if real's the right word. The question is, we look at consciousness and we look at like an intelligent entity as being in a physical carbon-based form that's in front of you that you can shake hands with or give a hug to.
Right.
When you experience what happens when you take dimethyltryptamine, you throw all that out the window because the environment itself is not it's not defined. It's fluid, meaning that it's changing constantly, but yet it seems far more vivid and far more real than this life right now. And there are these things that are there, and they communicate with you, and they seem to be really communicating with you, and they seem to also know you, know all of your bullshit, and be able to see right through you.
Yes.
But they don't seem to be you. They seem to be something else.
Right.
That's all we know.
Right, but I'm asking you what you think.
But that's what I think. That's all we know. You can't, like, you could say that's a well of souls. That's what happens when you die. That's the afterlife. That's a parallel dimension. These are aliens. That's how they can communicate with us. They're non-physical life forms that exist in these realms of light. We don't know. It's just, you're just guessing, right?
Well, I've been talking to people, and I've been told the theory that we are 3D beings, but they're 4D beings. So that we're 3D projections of 4D beings. So when you're breaking the veil, you are perceiving the 4D space.
Maybe. But that's all you could ever say. It's really just a maybe. When people say, I know what that is, I am communicating with the afterlife, or I know what that is, these are the real aliens. This is what happens when you're sleeping and people have these alien abduction experiences. What they really are having is an endogenous DMT dump because your brain does produce DMT.
Right.
But new research is showing that it's not just the brain that produces DMT. That they used to think it was the pineal gland, but now they think literally the whole brain is producing it, and the liver and the lungs. So it's part of the human body. It's something that the human body makes. They've been able to isolate it in specific organs, but they think this really bizarre, super potent psychedelic compound is everywhere, and they also think it's responsible for dreaming. They think there's an amount of it that comes out while you're sleeping, while you're in heavy REM sleep. This is speculative. They're trying to, but the thing is, there's parallels right? One of the parallels to the psychedelic states and dreams is that they're very difficult to recall. They you wake up and it's the most vivid, you come out of the experience, right? It's the most vivid thing that you've ever experienced in your life. And then moments later, you're like, I don't remember what happened. It's just like a dream.
So you've never had, because everyone who takes it talks about the spirit molecule, right? How much it affects their understanding of reality, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. You've never had lingering effects from the DMT experience cross over into meat space?
You mean like tripping for no reason?
Or just seeing, the way I've been told is that, like, if you're on a highway, right, and there's all these billboards, you don't notice what those billboards are, right? Mm-hmm. But let's suppose you're on a highway in another country and you don't understand what those billboards are if you want to, because they're another language. After you take it, you are able to see those signs and perceive them and read them. So that things in real life that you would previously been oblivious to, you now pick up on connections that you previously couldn't.
Well, I guess you could say that anytime you have a paradigm shifting moment in your life where, I mean, you could have this from a near death experience or the loss of a loved one where you're forced to reevaluate everything and look at things through fresh eyes, that anything like that is going to force you, anything that's just so titanically bizarre and ultimately incredibly different than your average day on this earth, this thing that changes you. It's going to force you to take things in. I would look at it that way more than I would look at it like all of a sudden you can like see these billboards in another country and recognize these patterns. I mean, you're just probably just being more aware. Marijuana does that for me more than anything.
Okay.
You know, especially edible marijuana. Edible marijuana for me is like one of the most reality highlighting experiences, because it makes me think about the buildings. Like, this is I just take these fucking things for granted.
Yeah.
There's a 64-story thing in front of me, and there's these human catacombs, and people are shitting into these tubes, and they go down through the water, and there's pipes everywhere with human shit, and then there's electricity pumping through everything, and everyone's got a TV or a PlayStation running, and we're all just juiced into this machine. And
yeah, the Matrix.
Yeah, listen, I think of people as human batteries all the time. I really do. I think of people as consuming currency producing batteries. Like, that's what we're consuming things, taking things in, and then we're also through our work all day long, so many people just doing something they hate to do just to create currency and then to add to the system and to purchase more things. And you just see them sitting in front of the machine, then they go home, sitting in front of the TV, sitting in front of the screen on their car. And we're constantly in this state of consuming and producing, and then adding to this weird techno society that we live in.
Okay, let me ask.
That's all from weed.
Okay, but let me ask you another question.
Okay,
let's suppose I drew in a piece of paper. I drew you, and I drew me, and I drew a house, right?
Okay.
And I said, what does what correspond to? And you'd point to that, you'd say that's me, and you'd point to that, you'd say that's Malice. That house has no correspondence in 3D space. It's a theoretical house, right?
Okay.
What if some of these people that you're talking about don't exist in the 4D space? What if they are 3D representations that don't have a representation in 4D space, just like that 2D house I just drew doesn't really exist?
Okay, so what if they're like, what is that, NPC?
NPCs, yeah. What if they literally don't have a higher form of existence?
Isn't that like your ego fucking with you, though?
Well, that's why I'm asking you, because apparently when people do a lot of DMT, they see things like this.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I wonder. I've met people that see things on DMT that were very ego driven. Like I knew a guy who had a crazy DMT trip, and he felt like he had a team that was working for him in this other dimension, and they were all about him, and they're helping him, and they're all together with him, and that, like, you know, his life, he has destiny in his life, and he has to fulfill his destiny, and they're working to fulfill his. I'm like, this is like some weird ego-driven idea of what's happening in this space, that he's like sort of he's forcing whatever that experience was to fit this mold of what he thinks of himself. And by the way, it wasn't very accomplished at the time, right? So thinks of this as like, it's, you know, delusions of grandeur, right?
Of course, I know well.
Yeah. But this is, I think, a kind of some sort of a reconciliation of that. Like he's sort of trying to figure out why it's not happening the way he wants it to happen and what is wrong, but yet also tripping and seeing these entities and saying, oh, they're all with me, they're going to help me, they're working with me on all of my plans, and this is all my team and another life. It was very strange. So I never felt like that at all. I've felt every time I've done it, it's like, here's all your bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Look at you, loser. It's highlighted.
No, it's never
all.
like you're so great and
No.
we're so honored to be talking to you, Joe Rogan. It's like, dude, get over yourself. No,
You ain't shit. Yeah.
But I thought that there are some people who basically become chiropractors of reality. So if he's like, you're going to help me achieve my goals and you're behind me, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
But if he's there to help them achieve their goals, that's a whole very different perspective.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So like that kind of thing where like just awesome things happen to you, not what you would want, but you're basically an agent of bringing about positivity and kindness in the world.
Yeah. Well, I think the more you can do good things, right? The more you can be an agent of kindness and positivity, the more you're going to literally spread out the fingers and
Yes.
branches of love.
Right.
And if you do that, and then you do have psychedelic experiences, I would imagine if you've made a positive shift like that, your experience would be much more positive when you go into that dimension.
Right.
Yeah.
Episode number 1747. Blair White describes her shocking DMT elf experience.
But this is another one of the really big realizations I had doing DMT. So we should talk about that.
Okay.
So since doing DMT, which I did it 2 weeks ago, I did it twice in 2 weeks, I had this like overwhelming sense of like, some people do DMT and then they start seeing people as NPCs. I've heard that talked about. Like they start seeing people as like, these are not real people with souls, and like, that's strange to me.
Who said that?
I see it all the time. People's like, I've had friends that do it and they start seeing people as NPCs based on what kind of trip they had. Like if they saw the elves or didn't, if they just saw cool colors or didn't. And for me,
Wait a minute. So you're saying that if people have a DMT trip and they didn't see the elves, and they think of that person who had that DMT trip as an NPC?
As like an NPC, like you don't have like a
That's so
soul because you didn't really connect with like any beings. You just saw pretty colors. You got a very simple experience. You know what I mean? But I had the opposite from after doing DMT. I see so much more humanity in everyone I'm around. Like I feel very changed after doing DMT. It's a very profound experience. And like I'm just noticing more things about people. I'm being more aware of like their body language when they talk to me. And I think it was a very positive thing doing DMT. And my experience was the closest thing to a spiritual experience I've ever had, because I've never been a person that's been terribly connected to like anything larger than me. I'd never been religious, never been spiritual, and I'd say it was the closest to like a spiritual thing for me.
I think it is a spiritual thing.
Yeah.
I think it's an undeniably spiritual thing. That's the thing about it, is like it forces you to think about love and connection and the bonds that people have with each other in a way that you don't get from anything else. The powerful experience of a transcendent psychedelic moment is it's not like anything else you experience in life, other than maybe like a near-death experience.
Yeah.
But you could argue that they're the same thing. I know people that have had near-death experiences that swear that it was like a DMT trip.
I'm sure. And I don't think it's confirmed, but people say that it's what happens when you legally die or medically die. It's like you have a DMT trip.
Yeah,
and
it's
I could see that.
But it's not confirmed, but there's a lot of there's a lot of evidence that points to that.
I could see that. And it, in a way, made me like less fearful of death, because I was like, if this is what happens at the end, it's a great feeling.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it going out like that. Like you just get this, for me at least, when I first was hitting it, and then like you start to leave the planet, I felt like this intense like set of rings going around my body, like of just warmth and like happiness and love. And then all of a sudden I'm like in space. And I did see an elf, which is what people call them. There's
What
like
they look like?
kind of like a court jester, and it had like slinky long arms. And it sounds like crackhead shit if you've never done DMT.
I know
not
bunch of
to
court
you,
jesters
but
too.
a lot of people have a shared like physical description of what these things look like.
One of my most profound experiences, there was a bunch of court jesters give me the finger.
Just flipping you off.
They're like, fuck you, like openly mocking me. And I was like, what?
Killing your ego.
I realized I take myself too seriously. Like, as they were doing it, I was like, I know what you're saying. And they went like this. Like,
chill out.
That's it. I got it. Like, while they were doing it, I was like, oh, I get it. And they're like, mm-hmm.
That's the thing, is like a common experience, people who meet the elves or the jesters, whatever you want to call them, they have like something to like teach you.
Yeah.
So for me, it was kind of similar to learning not to take myself seriously, but it was more so, don't take life so fucking seriously.
Right.
Trust the process of life, because I'm someone who, even though I like to think I have my life pretty together, I still worry about everything so much all the time. I'm always stressed out. And the elf was telling me, like, does everything have to be a fight, Blair? Is everything a war?
Whoa.
Are you worried about everything? Like, kind of clowning me a little bit, literally, because it's kind of clownish. Like, really? Is everything that serious?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'll just chill out. Yeah. It was like that simple. I was like, okay, I'll chill.
It's good that you can grasp that and have that experience and learn from it, because a lot of people can't, and that's when they have bad trips, because they try to fight it and they try to resist. No, I'm not fighting anything, and then all of a sudden you're in this fucking death spiral.
That was my mistake with shrooms.
Oh.
I did shrooms about a year ago. It was actually when I was evacuating LA because of the riots. Went up with some friends in the mountains. Let's do shrooms. And it was my first time doing it. And the person who was supplying said shrooms basically gave me a huge plate like this big, stacked it, covered it in shrooms, and said, eat all of them, which is very irresponsible for someone's first
grams?
time. I don't know. I just know it was a plate covered in shrooms.
Show me the size of the plate. Give me an example. Oh my God. So this is
it was like a dinner plate.
Like when you'd go to like Ruth's Chris and have a steak.
Yes. Yes. But it was shrooms. And I have never done shrooms in my life. I had no, because until you do a psychedelic, you have no concept of a psychedelic.
Right.
Like weed isn't anything close to it, not even the same planet. So I ate all of it. We walked down to the water, and then the whole world changed. But the difference between shrooms and DMT is, like, to me, with shrooms, you're still on Earth, even though Earth's heavily distorted. And
that's because you have your eyes open and you're walking around.
That's true. DMT, you leave Earth.
If you were in silent darkness, if you were alone by yourself in the dark and you were laying down on mushrooms and you just closed your eyes, it'd be very similar.
Oh, okay. That makes sense to me. Yeah, we were walking around, and there's something about doing it, like, we were in this neighborhood in Big Bear with all these like cabins, and like I started getting so freaked out that everyone was just watching from their houses, and it was me and 5 people. And so we were all tripping, walking back to the cabin from the water, holding hands, walking slowly. Like,
oh my God.
And I was like, are people looking? Are people looking?
They probably are. Look at these freaks holding hands.
No, yeah, for sure.
Balls.
And we were all like social media people or whatever. We were like, people are going to film this. It's going to be on YouTube tomorrow.
Wow. Be fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been ashamed.
It's not the best idea to do that publicly. A lot of people wind up doing that. They do it publicly and they trip balls and they walk around. But
or to eat a whole fucking plate.
Yeah.
I should have had one little shroom.
That's a good way to start.
Yeah.
A good way to start is like one, and you get like a little feeling, maybe like a gram, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Before you want to get into like the 3 to 5 gram, like yikes. Like,
I think it's also very important to do it when you're maybe in a good place in life. Like, I would never want to do it if I was in a bad place. Like, when I did shrooms, half of my trip was really, really scary and really bad because I was in a bad mindset. Like, LA was on fire. I was escaping. I felt unsure about the world. Right before we tripped, it was like a news report, like Trump going into a bunker as protesters ascend upon the White House. And I was like, let me escape this. I don't think it's good to use it like as escapism, shrooms.
Did Trump have to go to a bunker? Is that real?
I think he denied it after that, but I remember in DC when it was the riots happening, and I think they moved Trump to a safe place. I'm sure he would deny it, but when I did DMT, I did it very recently, and I'm in like one of the best places of my life recently. Like, I'm in a new city that I'm actually really enjoying, even though it was a tough transition at first. Been through a couple of those. But I'm just very happy, so I wasn't escaping anything. I was like, teach me what you have to teach me.
Right.
Yeah. And then the second time I went even farther, but
it's very bizarre that it's so there. It's so easy to get to. It's just 15 seconds away. It's one of the most insane experiences that a human being could possibly encounter.
Yeah.
If there was a thing that you could, like a ride at Disneyland, it would be a mile long. mile-long line to get into that fucking thing.
Right.
Everybody would be like, oh, I want to go on that ride.
Right.
Because it's so fucking crazy.
Yeah, and just the fact that, I don't know. So I had a lot of resistance towards ever trying psychedelics for a while because I did grow up in a household where everyone was addicted to drugs, and my brother was in prison for selling drugs and heroin and all that kind of shit, right? So I was like, I'm never going to do drugs. But then, like, I just see psychedelics a bit different. It's not meth. It's not any of that shit. It's different.
They are very, very, very different.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing. And, like, it's really hard to even articulate what the trip is with DMT specifically without ever doing it. So, like, people were telling me about the elves, and I was like, y'all are crackheads. Don't tell me about some fucking elves I'm about to meet.
The problem with the term drug is it's a blanket term that you could use for caffeine, you use for nicotine, you use for alcohol.
And,
There's a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
Adrenaline's a drug. You know.
While I'm sure it's possible, I can't imagine, after now doing DMT twice, I can't imagine someone becoming, like, addicted to it.
Oh, I wouldn't know about that. I know a guy who was a tattoo artist that was doing DMT every fucking day, multiple times a day. And then finally the entities had to sit him down and go, hey, motherfucker,
Chill.
Stop. Like, you're going to lose your grip on this world.
Wow.
Yeah. They literally told him to stop doing it, he said.
See, it's such an intense experience for me that I couldn't imagine wanting that every day. It's kind of like I did it and I'm good for a while.
This guy's an intense guy.
That's fucking nuts.
He's a wild dude. He's an artist who does biomech tattoos. You know, that biomech type of art? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Biomech. See if you can Google, like, biomech art. My buddy has a sleeve done by this dude. His art's incredible.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
But his is more like that, exactly like that. So it's like almost like alien.
That's cool.
Yeah, like that kind of shit. That's a certain style of tattooing called biomech, and this dude was fucking. He is still elite at it.
That's a cool thing to specialize in, that type of tattoo.
Yeah, that's a little different. That's not quite. That's more like it. That kind of, it's all this weird sort of alien looking fucking trippy shit.
I would imagine you have to be an intense guy to even know how to do that, so.
Yeah, well, it's also to specialize in that one particular style of art. It's like his vision of life was like all fucked up and distorted and twisted.
One of the people I did DMT with wasn't told to, like, not do DMT anymore by the elves, but was told, like, you don't have to come back anymore, almost in a gentle way. Like, we came out of our trips and the friend was like, they told me I don't have to come back anymore. I'm like, how many times have you done it? He's like, 9. I'm like, maybe take a break then.
I've done it 9. I've done it more than 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I haven't done it in a couple of years though, so maybe I could get back in there and have a conversation. But like I said, the last time that I did it was probably the most intense and the most weird, because when they were giving me the finger. But it was like, I've never, like, but it's just, I think sometimes what people do, and what I've certainly done, is you protect yourself from criticism, or you protect yourself from your own analysis of your correct and incorrect thoughts and actions by bullshitting yourself. And one of the ways that you realize if you're bullshitting yourself is, like, how do you react to satire? How do you react to being mocked? How do you react to people not taking you seriously? Do you go, that's their prerogative, good luck? Or do you go, fuck them, I'm going to fucking make a response video. Whoa.
Right.
And the aliens, or the whatever they were, the jesters, and they all had the little bells, the little hats with the bells.
Yeah, it's so crazy. They look like little courtyard.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
But they were going like this, fuck you, and they were like
hilarious.
Openly mocking me, and my initial response was, hey, and then I realized, like, oh, and they were like, that's it, you got it. I was like,
they're
all right,
kind of sarcastic.
Oh yeah, well, they know your bullshit. They know all of your nonsense. They know all of your thoughts. They know, I mean, whatever the fuck they are, whether they're a part of your consciousness or whether these are intelligent entities in another dimension that you're interacting with.
See, that is what I've been questioning since doing this. So I was told by a friend who's done DMT a lot that after you do DMT, pay attention to the real world, and if you believe that the elves are real beings that are independent of something created in your own brain due to the DMT, they'll, like, send you a sign, right? And I was like, again, crackhead shit. No, I'm not going to meet the elves in real life, right?
Right.
So one of the things in my first trip that they kept telling me was, this is not the end. This is not the end. They kept telling me that because I think I was asking them, like, is this what happens when you die? Like, what is this? They said the phrase, this is not the end, multiple times. Directly after the trip, we go to a restaurant. And I wasn't liking the energy. Like, there's like a glow after you do DMT that you kind of want to maintain. And I didn't like the energy in the first restaurant. So I was like, let's leave. Went to another restaurant.
What was wrong with the energy?
The people were just weird. I don't know. It's like you create like a bubble when you do it with like friends and you're like, I don't like what they might do to our bubble. So then we go to another restaurant and there's a huge sign that just says, this is not the end on the thing. And I'm like, whoa, what? And then I looked at my friend who told me to look for signs and he's like, told ya.
Whoa.
So I'm like, I mean, I'm not saying that I think that they really are beings. I'm going back and forth between that.
Episode number 1812. Doug Stanhope says DMT felt like dying.
The best thing is to get into the state we could just be Doug Stanhope. And I go, Doug Stanhope, you're on. And just push you onto the stage.
And to get me into that state, I have to know
Incorrect.
what time I should
Incorrect.
not be
No.
shit-faced like
No,
I was
no,
last night.
No. This is the
Don't
way.
take 50
Cheers.
milligrams.
Come on. Take 175.
Don't
Let's
take
go
50
200.
milligrams and then have Joe Rogan go, show starts now.
Let's do
fuck.
mushrooms. Let's do mushrooms. Let's do
I'm
the
scared
show
of 'em.
on.
I'm scared of
Me
'em.
too. That's the point. Come on,
How long's
Douglas.
it been?
Yesterday?
I did do I
For me?
microdosed.
I'm doing them all the time.
All right.
Small amounts.
Exactly. I don't want to even say her name, but yeah, Carmen Morales.
What?
Yeah, she came out. She
What's
was.
her name? Don't say her name.
She's a comic.
Don't listen to me. If you don't want to say her name, don't say her name. Let's call her.
She would want her
Boogie
name to be
Woogie.
said.
No,
It wasn't,
no.
She wasn't dealing
She's
drugs.
giving you drugs.
Yeah.
Don't.
You've given me drugs.
Don't tell these fucking people.
Can you black out the Joe Rogan Experience and just say the Experience?
Doug Stanhope.
Allegedly.
Doug Stanhope. When the first time he and I did DMT, I was worried I lost him. I was really genuinely worried.
Oh my goodness.
You were gone.
Oh my goodness.
You had gone.
Oh my
like,
goodness.
You had gone to this snoring thing where I was like, do I lift him up so that he doesn't swallow his fucking tongue? I was like, oh my god, if I kill Doug, if the man show dies, because I give Doug DMT.
It was dying. By the way, that we knew we were writing the last monologues ever, and that's what fucked me up. We've told this story every time, I'm sure, on your podcast, but we were at your house writing. We know this is the last of the monologues, and they're fucking just pap dredge, fucking awful. What's up,
It
guys?
wasn't that bad.
But by the end,
it wasn't that
when
bad.
we
It
know
was
it's
just-
fucking
there
over
was-
and we're beaten.
Yeah. Well, there was some.
Last time you want to smoke DMT, my first time, like, all right, this sucks, and we're just getting through this, and then you want to smoke DMT, and then I go fucking into alternate realities, and then I come out of it 10 minutes later saying, I remember, I came out of it just saying, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, because I've just learned the fucking...
You know what else you said? You said, you've already seen this. You said that to me. Oh, you've already seen this. You've already
I
seen this.
swear the picture of fucking Bill Hicks on your wall winked at me, and when I said that to
the
you...
one with him with the lighting the American flag with a cigarette.
Well, yeah, what you had a...
Lighting the cigarette with the American flag.
But
Yeah.
I came out of it and I looked, and I swear Bill Hicks fucking winked at me. When I said that to you, you went, fucking, looked at me like cliche. But I swear that happened.
No.
I'm not even that big a Bill
No.
Hicks fan.
You were just insecure because you had like experienced death, and you came back.
When I would go outside to smoke cigarettes from the writer's room on the lot after that,
Yeah.
for a week, I couldn't make direct eye contact with the giant dumpster-sized electrical generator because I thought I could make it blow up with my mind. The wiring in my head was so... I've never done it since. People try to drop that off at the merch booth. I
We
go,
should do it
never
tonight.
again.
We should do it tonight.
Fuck no.
Yeah, come
Well,
on.
yeah, when
man.
I'm
You're
about
okay.
to when
You're
I'm gonna
better.
quit smoking cigarettes.
You're
yeah,
better
that
now
would be.
because of that day.
I don't know.
Yeah, you are. You know why? Because you know that that's possible. You didn't know that that was possible.
But it's hard to break up. Okay, I'm gonna write a bit about this that now I know is dog shit and means nothing. because I've been through that experience where you go, this is all so fucking, life is so silly, but you still have to make a living by.
But Doug, just express that. You don't have.
I've been doing that.
But I know you have, but don't worry about that. It doesn't have to be dog shit and silly. It's you. You don't think about that. Think about you. Think about if you were like some 24-year-old guy working in a fucking newspaper distributor office. You had a bullshit job and you're allowed to listen to podcasts and you listen to you talk about your experience. Don't worry about like your own fucking weirdness in handling it. Worry about what it is. What it is like you died and came back. Like you really felt like you died and came back. When you came back,
I didn't feel like I died.
You said
I felt like I knew.
You said to me,
hearsay, Your Honor.
This is what you said. You said life eats life. You said life just eats life. Life eats life. Life eats life.
Wow.
This is what you said. When you were coming out, you were like, life just eats life. Life just eats life. It just keeps going. It keeps going. Life eats life. Life eats life. I'm just trying to hang on. Life eats life. Life eats life. It's like, you've already been there. You've already been here. You've already been here.
Ultimate
and then you're
knowledge.
like, you took me to this place. You've already been there. I'll never forget that because I thought you were going to die. I was like, God damn it. Nobody's ever died from this shit. I'm like, if Doug's the first guy to die, I'm like, he's like, maybe I like overestimated the RPMs at his fucking engine handle and redlined. But you got through it. And that was the thing you kept saying. Life eats life. Life eats life. Life eats life.
But the dichotomy of having to go from that supernatural experience in 10 minutes and then go back to, oh wait, now we really have to try it, finishing up these dumb monologues.
Yeah, but that's okay too. That's okay too, because that's a unique challenge. That's like some weird thing we're doing. Like, what are we doing?
Episode number 1812. Doug Stanhope says DMT felt like dying.
The best thing is to get into the state we could just be Doug Stanhope. And I go, Doug Stanhope, you're on. And just push you onto the stage.
And to get me into that state, I have to know
Incorrect.
what time I should not be shit-faced like I was last night.
No. This
don't
is
take 50 milligrams.
Cheers. Come on. Take 175.
Don't take 50 milligrams and then have Joe Rogan go, show starts now.
Let's do mushrooms. Let's do mushrooms. Let's do.
Oh, I'm scared of them. I'm scared of them.
Me too. That's the point. Come on,
How
Douglas.
long has it been?
Yesterday.
I did do a microdosed.
I'm doing them all the time.
All right.
Small amounts.
I don't want to. Exactly. I don't want to even say her name, but yeah, Carmen Morales.
What?
Yeah, she came out.
What's her name? Don't say her name.
She's a comic.
Don't listen to me. If you don't want to say her name, don't say her name. Let's call her.
She would want her name to be
Woogie.
said.
No.
No. She wasn't dealing drugs.
She's giving you drugs.
Yeah.
Don't.
You've given me drugs.
Don't tell these fucking people.
Can you black out the Joe Rogan Experience and just say the experience?
Doug Stanhope.
Allegedly.
Doug Stanhope. When the first time he and I did DMT, I was worried I lost him. I was really genuinely worried.
Oh my goodness!
You were gone.
Oh my goodness!
You had gone.
Oh my
like,
goodness!
You had gone to this snoring thing where I was like, do I lift him up so that he doesn't swallow his fucking tongue? I was like, oh my god, if I kill Doug, if the man show dies, because I give Doug DMT.
It was dying. By the way, that we knew we were writing the last monologues ever, and that's what fucked me up. We've told this story every time, I'm sure, on your podcast. But we were at your house writing. We know this is the last of the monologues, and they're fucking just pap dredge, fucking awful. What's up, guys?
It wasn't that bad.
But by the end,
it wasn't that
when
bad.
we know it's fucking over and we're beaten.
Yeah. Well, there was some.
Last time you want to smoke DMT, my first time, like, all right, this sucks, and we're just getting through this, and then you want to smoke DMT, and then I go fucking into alternate realities. And then I come out of it 10 minutes later saying, I remember, I came out of it just saying, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, because I've just learned the fucking...
You know what else you said? You said, you've already seen this. You said that to me. Oh, you've already seen this. You've already seen this.
I swear the picture of fucking Bill Hicks on your wall winked at me, and when I said that to you...
The one with him and the lighting the American flag with a cigarette.
Well, yeah. What, you had
lighting the cigarette with the American flag.
But I came out of it, and I looked, and I swear Bill Hicks fucking winked at me when I said that to you. You went, fucking looked at me like cliche. But I swear that happened.
No.
I'm not even that big a Bill Hicks fan.
You were just insecure because you had like experienced death, and you came back.
When I would go outside to smoke cigarettes from the writer's room on the lot after that for a week, I couldn't make direct eye contact with the giant dumpster-sized electrical generator because I thought I could make it blow up with my mind. The wiring in my head was so... I've never done it since. People try to drop that off at the merch booth.
We should do it
never
tonight.
Again.
We should do it tonight.
Fuck no.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, when
man.
I'm
You're
about
okay.
to when
You're
I'm gonna
better.
quit smoking cigarettes.
You're
yeah,
better
that
now
would be.
because of that day.
I don't know.
Yeah, you are. You know why? Because you know that that's possible. You didn't know that that was possible.
But it's hard to break up. Okay, I'm going to write a bit about this that now I know is dog shit and means nothing because I've been through that experience where you go, this is all so fucking, life is so silly, but you still have to make a living by...
But Doug, just express that. You don't have...
I've been doing that.
But I know you have, but don't worry about that. It doesn't have to be dog shit and silly. It's you. You don't think about that. Think about you. Think about if you were like some 24-year-old guy working in a fucking newspaper distributor office. You had a bullshit job and you're allowed to listen to podcasts and you listen to you talk about your experience. Don't worry about like your own fucking weirdness in handling it. Worry about what it is. What it is like you died and came back. Like you really felt like you died and came back. When you came back,
I didn't feel like I died.
You said
I
to
felt
me,
like I
let me,
knew.
Let me. You said to me,
Hearsay, Your Honor.
this is what you said. You said life eats life. You said life just eats life. Life eats life. Life eats life.
Wow.
This is what you said. When you were coming out, you were like, life just eats life. Life just eats life. It just keeps going. It keeps going. Life eats life. Life eats life. I'm just trying to hang on. Life eats life. Life eats life. It's like, you've already been there. You've already been here. You've already been here.
Ultimate
And then you're
knowledge.
like, you took me to this place. You already been there. I'll never forget that because I thought you were gonna die. I was like, God damn it, nobody's ever died from this shit. I'm like, if Doug's the first guy to die, I'm like, he's like, maybe I like overestimated the RPMs that his fucking engine can handle and he redlined. But you got through it, and that was the thing you kept saying. Life eats life. Life eats life. Life eats life.
But the dichotomy of having to go from that supernatural experience in 10 minutes and then go back to, oh wait, now we really have to try it, finishing up these dumb monologues.
Yeah, but that's okay
Like,
too. That's okay too because that's a unique challenge. That's like some weird thing we're doing. Like, what are we doing?
Episode number 2403 with Andrew Gallimore. What happens to your brain on DMT?
You've done some like legitimate studies with DMT.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I work mainly kind of, I guess you could say, theoretically, in that I do more quantitative and qualitative analyses of the DMT state and try to use the tools of neuroscience to try to understand how DMT elicits its effects. So we can kind of get into, if you want to go really deep, I can give you a kind of a neuroscience lesson. And we can
please
talk about. So if we want to understand DMT, we kind of have to start with the basic observation. Before you take DMT, you are experiencing a world, right? Whenever you're awake and conscious, you're experiencing a world, the normal waking world. This is the world that's kind of familiar to us. When you take DMT, that world is transformed. It disappears. It's obliterated, and it's replaced with one that is altogether stranger, shall we say. And so what I want to do is kind of understand, first of all, how that happens, what's actually going on in the brain to cause that transition, and why that happens. And you can't do that unless you have a decent understanding of the normal waking world. So what is the normal waking world? It's a model. It's an interface generated by your brain. So you have this world-building machinery on the outer layer of your brain called the cortex, and this is generating your world all the time. All the features of the world that you're experiencing are represented within the cortex. And that applies whether you are just normal waking life, it applies in dreaming, it even applies in the psychedelic state. The world that you experience is always constructed as a model by the brain. And so what that means is that psychedelics, what they're doing is they're perturbing the brain, they're manipulating the brain and altering that model. Now, for example, with, let's say, psilocybin from magic mushrooms, psilocybin binds to a receptor in the brain called the 5-HT2A receptor, which you're probably familiar with, this serotonin receptor. Mm-hmm. And so this is it's called an excitatory receptor. It stimulates these neurons, of which your cortex is constructed from, makes them more excitable, makes them more likely to fire and share information between to other neurons. You get this kind of loosening up of the world model that your brain is constructing. So the walls start to breathe. Objects seem to kind of change their identity. Everything becomes more fluid and dynamic. And if you put someone into an MRI machine, for example, you can actually see that. In the normal waking state, you can see the neural activity. It's dynamic, but it's kind of organized and well orchestrated. You give someone psilocybin, let's say, or LSD, and you start to see the activity becoming sort of more random and fluid. So you get this state of slightly increased disorder, as if the kind of the tuning dial between order and disorder in the brain has been slightly nudged towards disorder. But then with DMT, something remarkable happens. In the early stages of the experience, you get this kind of quite chaotic state, suggesting that the brain is entering this more disordered state. But then it kind of collapses into this brand new order. So you go from the order of the normal waking world to this disordered state, and then vroom, you collapse into this completely different type of order. So the brain is effectively constructing an entirely different model of reality. It's no longer the normal waking world model, which acts as kind of an interface with the environment, but it's constructing a completely different world model.
When you say constructing, why do you use that term? Why do you use the brain is constructing?
Because so if you think about, how does the brain interact with how do we interact with the environment using our senses, right? So light information comes through the eyes, the retina, and it stimulates the very back of the brain. You have an area,
Oh, you brought slides.
I brought slides.
There we go.
Yeah. Maybe the next one, Jamie, is a bit easier to see. There we go. So at the back of the brain here, you have an area called V1, which is the primary visual cortex. That's your interface with the world. Sensory information comes and strikes. It activates patterns of neural activity in V1, but it's very, very messy. It's like lines and patches of color and, lines moving in certain directions. It's a mess, right? It's very noisy. It's very messy. It's incredibly dynamic. It doesn't make any sense. And so what your brain does is it has another level above V1 that kind of has a bird's eye view and is looking for patterns within this neural activity in this lowest level. So it's looking for saying, those lines kind of could be a triangle, or this could be a circle. It's trying to find patterns to try generate order from this messy level in V1.
Can I ask you this? How do we know it does that?
That's a good question. Well, there are a number of things. So the earliest evidence came from one of the earliest forms of evidence came from a guy called Wilder Penfield. Are you familiar with?
No.
So Wilder Penfield, he was interested in treating epilepsy. And he invented something called the Montreal procedure, where he would remove a part of the brain that was the focus of epileptiform activity. The idea being that it would kind of cure someone's epilepsy. But before he could do that, of course, he needed to make sure that he wasn't removing important parts for someone's function. So what he would do is he would cut the top of their skull off, when they're still awake. Yeah, and kind of expose their brain. And then he would zap different parts of their brain and say, you know, what's happening.
Oh,
right?
my God.
Can you imagine?
Isn't it crazy that that's how we have to find out what works? We have to, like, it's... The aliens probably look at us and go, oh, my God, you guys are still doing that?
Yeah,
It's like-
nowadays things have moved on a bit, right?
I'm sure, but I mean, this is not that long ago, right? How long ago is this?
1950s.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Not even 100 years.
Right,
So 100 years
exactly.
ago, they were literally taking your skull and turning it into a hat.
They would
popping
turn-
the cap off
Pop the
and
cap
just,
off.
okay,
Yeah.
let's see what this does.
Exactly. They
Yeah.
would zap it. And what he noticed is that when he would zap right at the back of the brain, so this is this primary visual cortex that's receiving information from the environment, his patients would say, oh, I see flashes of light, I see lines, I see colours. It was very simple kind of things. But then he would move forward to kind of higher levels that we know now are kind of high levels. And then they'd say, oh, I see triangles, or I see an orange circle, things like this. Then he'd keep going higher and higher. And then they'd say, oh, I see people, or I see cops and robbers. And then right at the top, you reach an area called the hippocampus, which you may have heard of, involved in memory. And the hippocampus basically keeps an eye. It's got a bird's eye view of all of this world model your brain is constructing, and it's kind of following and looking for, you know, interesting or important patterns. And when he stimulated that, his patients would actually report memories. They would say, "Oh, I hear somebody talking to me. You know, this happened this morning when I was leaving the house. My mother was telling me something about, you know, you've got your coat on backwards," or something like this. So you have these levels of the cortex that go from very simple, kind of very low-level visual data at the bottom end, and then at the very top you've got kind of higher order things such as, you know, faces or people. This is sitting at the top. Now, interesting. Have you ever, when you are dreaming, right? So let's think about dreaming for a second. It's quite instructive, I think. When you're dreaming, right, the brain is actually constructing the world in basically the same way as it does when you're awake. Dreams are kind of selective simulations of the waking world. The difference, of course, is that there's no sensory inputs. So if you scan someone's brain while they're having a dream, you'll see that this back of the brain, this primary visual cortex, is kind of quiet. The brain is kind of using what it's learned about building the world in the normal waking state to construct the dream world. So the dream world is it's built from exactly the same stuff as the normal waking world. However, there's interesting features. In a dream, have you ever tried to use your cell phone?
No.
Not many people have. What about read a book in a dream?
I don't think so. One thing I have learned to do is I think I saw it in a movie. If you knock on a door, you'll realize that you're in a dream. And
Is this Waking Life?
I don't remember what movie it was. But it was a guy who was instructing how to lucid dream. And that if you make a habit of walking through a doorway in your home, and every time you walk through a doorway in your home, tap on the doorway, knock on it with your hand, and say, "Am I awake?" Knock, knock, knock. Yeah. And then you'll get in a habit of doing that every time you go through a doorway. And if you go through a doorway in your dream, you'll do it. You'll say, "Am I awake?" And then as you go to knock, 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 you're like, "Oh, shit, I'm dreaming."
There we go.
And then you realize, and if you don't give into astonishment, you can maintain that dream, right? That's the thing. It's like, "Oh, my God, I'm dreaming. I can't believe this." And then you wake up, right?
Yeah.
You get too freaked out and you wake up. But if you don't do it, and I've only been able to do this a few times because I don't really knock. I did it for a while after the movie. I saw the movie. I tried it for a while. And I did have a dream like that where I went through a doorway and I said, "Am I dreaming?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm dreaming." And then I realized I was dreaming. And then I was like flying. I was doing a lot of weird stuff. But then it went away. And then I stopped doing it. And I've always been like, why don't I practice lucid dreaming? I've thought about it like a dozen times at least. Like, why don't I just get a book on lucid dreaming and really try to attempt to learn the techniques, and I never do.
Yeah, it takes commitment. But now there's actually a simpler way of that kind of reality tests. A simpler way now is to just get out your cell phone occasionally, open up the calculator and do a few calculations and just check everything's working, right? Or open up a book and try to read it. Because the thing about the dream world is, again, just like the normal waking world, it's constructed over kind of levels of a hierarchy from the highest level models. So your brain can construct a high level model of a cell phone quite easily. But all of the fine details of how it functions, that's all represented at the lowest level of the cortex. That's really dependent on sensory inputs. So you can dream of having your mobile phone in your hand and doing with it, but as soon as you try to do something with it, to actually, your brain has to kind of construct that function, and it can't do it unless it has access to sensory inputs. And so that's how you can test if you're lucid dreaming. Okay. Yeah, and which is why the DMT state is so fascinating, is because it's nothing like the dream state. People say, that perhaps DMT is released when you're dreaming, and that it actually triggers. I mean, this goes back to the 1980s. There's a theoretical paper published by a guy called Jace Calloway, and he said, maybe DMT could be produced during REM sleep because it's closely related to melatonin structurally, both kind of tryptamine structures. But when you analyze the phenomenology, the actual experience of DMT, it's nothing like dreaming. Dreaming is generally the brain making use of what it knows about how to construct the world in the waking state and doing so in the dream state. So that's why if you ask people, many studies on dreaming have shown that people, when they dream about people, they dream about dogs and cats, they dream about, the amount of time they spend talking on the telephone or watching TV is actually similar to what it is in waking life. So dreaming is more like a selective simulation of the waking world. It's not that difficult to explain. Because your brain, from the moment you were born, your brain was learning to construct the world as a model of the environment. This world is the only world that your brain knows how to build or should know how to build. And yet when you introduce this molecule, dimethyltryptamine, into the brain suddenly starts constructing a world it never learned to construct. It's like the brain is speaking a language it never learned to speak, and doing so flawlessly. These worlds are of beautiful crystalline clarity, perfectly finessed, staggeringly complex narrative complexity that I think is very difficult to explain. There's no simple explanation of why the brain should suddenly become capable of constructing these worlds unless, and this is where things become more contentious, we are indeed interfacing with some kind of intelligence. That's the explanation that makes sense to me, is that somehow DMT is gating access to some kind of the flow of information from some kind of intelligent agent that is directing the DMT experience.
Episode number 1854 with Rick Strassman, Endogenous DMT, the brain's hidden interface.
Well, one of the interesting things about endogenous DMT, and especially with its discovery in such high levels in the brain, is that it may be the endomatrix. It could be kind of regulating everything all of the time.
What do you mean by that? Regulating everything all the time?
It could be the way we interact with reality is through endogenous DMT, which is always at a steady level. Well, it's the way I began wondering about that is because, what is the purpose of endogenous DMT? Why does the brain make DMT?
Can you do a DMT test on a person's blood level?
It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard. It's really low in the blood. It's like, billionths of a gram per milliliter.
Okay, so you'd have to measure it in the actual brain itself?
In the brain or spinal fluid, maybe spinal fluid, but most likely brain.
When they start doing stuff like Neuralink, where they're going to insert wires into your brain and, you're going to have an app, to control your brain, to control your mood. I mean, it seems like that would be one of the ways they would do it, right?
Well, you'd need to find, where in the brain the main, source of DMT is, and then put an electrode there and keep that going.
Do you think it's limited to one specific area where it's developed?
Oh man, they're just beginning to unravel the whole role and location of endogenous DMT.
So when they know that it's in the liver and they know that it's in the lungs to me sound interesting because of holotropic breathing.
Right.
Because people have done breathing exercises and achieved states of altered states of consciousness.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but I think it's not working through the lungs because those more recent studies haven't really demonstrated DMT in lung.
Oh.
Yeah. I used to say it's made in lung. Everybody used to say it's made in lung, but it seems like it's made in brain.
So if it's made in brain, then all the other stuff, you're just getting like a trickle-down effect?
Well...
Does it go through the whole body?
Yeah, but it's metabolized so quickly that, by the time it gets into the blood that you're drawing, the concentrations are pretty minuscule.
Wow. What a sneaky molecule.
Well, you have to wonder what it's doing, right?
Right. What is it doing?
What is endogenous? What's the function of it? There's the possibility we have a DMT neurotransmitter system, like serotonin or dopamine, in which case, what is it doing?
Wow. So this is a really wild way to think about it, because to this time, I'd never even considered that. I always thought of it as being something that was responsible maybe for very vivid dreams, or something that was responsible for near-death experiences, or what happens to you when you die, the
Right.
idea of a portal.
Mm-hmm.
But I never thought about it as being something that is regulating regular, everyday reality.
Well, one of the hallmarks of the DMT effect is that it feels more real than real.
Yeah.
And you study the function of endogenous neurotransmitters by giving drugs that modify the effect of that endogenous neurotransmitter. So we've got the SSRI antidepressants, and they affect serotonin, although they may not all that much. But still, that's been the working model for decades. And because SRIs are useful for depression and anxiety, you then can speculate that serotonin is responsible for mood or anxiety. So the hallmark of a DMT effect is it's more real than real. It feels more real than anything else. So it's tempting to speculate.
But that, again, when I go back to that disembodied mind thought process of thinking what am I thinking when I'm over there? Since my body doesn't seem to be there and I'm there and it seems more real than real, is that me just tricking myself into thinking that it's a different place?
How could you tell?
How could I tell, right?
Yeah, how would you know?
I have one way of looking at it that I always describe. This is what I say to people. I say, if there was a thing that you could do, like a door you could go through, and that door would take you to another dimension where you would communicate with some entity beyond your wildest imagination that's constantly visually changing and communicating with you telepathically and knows everything about you, sees all your bullshit, and is trying to impart some ideas that will help you with your life. Because it's a godlike experience. You're experiencing some sort of uber powerful entity, some uber intelligent entity, something beyond any. If we just looked at humans and thought of the evolution of human, one day we'll get to this. We're not going to get to that. That is a different. It seems like it's so beyond the body. It's so beyond the human monkey body. This is what I tell people. I go, if you would open a door and you would go there and you'd have that experience, would you do it? And most people are like, yes, I would do it. If I gave you a drug that gave you that experience, you still have the exact same experience. It's the exact same experience. You've just decided it's not real. And you've decided it's not real because you're putting it in this category of hallucination. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? You're actually having that experience. I don't know what it is. I like to play devil's advocate, and I like to think that maybe I'm messing with my own head, and maybe I'm just like, it's like
well, through doing what?
Looking at it like maybe it's just my neurochemistry going bonkers, and interacting with my visual cortex could produce these hallucinations.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't feel that way. That's why I'm trying to figure out if you're bullshitting yourself when you're over there, or if you really are over there. But what I tell people is it's the same experience.
Yeah. What difference does it make?
What? Yeah.
Yeah. It's previously invisible.
Yeah.
And it contains information.
A lot.
Yeah. And I think that's all you can say about it.
It contains information about you, right?
Well, it could only be happening to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not happening to somebody else.
It's like it gives you advice.
It can. But I mean, how do you judge the value of that advice?
Yeah. Well, what is the advice? One of the things that happened to me, I've talked about this ad nauseum, unfortunately, if you've heard this before, folks. But one of my experiences, there was like a bunch of jokers, like jesters, with like jester hats, and they were giving me the finger. They were going like this, fuck you. And it made me realize I was taking myself too seriously. Like instantaneously I went, oh, I get it. And they went like this. They went like don't do that. Don't do that. But like saying fuck you to me, it was so clear what they were doing. It was so clear. It was like a little lesson. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Don't do that. That's like 3 syllables. And they correspond to a heartbeat. When I tripped on DMT the first time, these beings came out of this waterfall and they said, now do you see? Now do you see?
Yeah.
Now do you see? It was the same 3-beat thing.
I love you. They say I love you a lot.
I love you. And I think it corresponds to the heartbeat because it's in sync. The vocalizations in sync with the heartbeat.
I love you. Yeah.
Bump, bump, bump. Bump, bump.
The one time I did it, and these entities were talking to me and saying, I love you 600,500,000 times. Like the way a child would say I love you with like some crazy number, 7 billion zillion, and every time they did that, it would show a more beautiful image. Like every image, like I love you 600,500,000 times. I love you 700 zillion 400. And every time they did it, it was just this bigger and bigger experience visually, to the point where I was like crying. I was like openly weeping at the beauty of just what I was seeing.
It sounds beautiful.
It was wild, but it was that simple sort of. There's just like they'll say simple things to you in a way that you're not really hearing it, but you know what they're saying.
Well, it kind of penetrates you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's very weird.
Very weird.
Yeah.
You used to not talk about your personal experiences with it.
I know. I figured to hell with it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's good that you did that, because I remember when we first met, you were reluctant to discuss it. You didn't really want to talk about it publicly or want people to know about it publicly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I figured that I had some legitimacy to maintain. A few years back, I had this conversation with Dennis McKenna, like about your reputation or one's reputation. He said, "I've just given up on my reputation. It just so."
Well, when you talk as openly about psychedelics as Dennis, he's the best guy to talk about it too, because he's got a really interesting way of discussing things, and he's had so many personal experiences, and he's so smart. And he's got this incredible vocabulary to just draw from. And when he describes the actual impact of psilocybin and psychedelic chemicals, particularly in formation of language, he was describing the stoned ape theory.
The stoned ape, yeah.
It's incredible listening to him say it, because the way he describes it, like he actually understands what psilocybin and what all these various molecules are doing to different parts of the brain, and why that would facilitate the development of language and compassion and connect the tribe more. And
well, I mean, do you think it actually is information coming from the brain? Or do you think, that the portal's being opened up and the information's coming from above?
I think that's more likely. I think the more likely is that the brain is an antenna. It's one of the things that creative people will always tell you. Like, someone sits down and writes a song, it just like came from the air. They're getting things from somewhere else almost. And it's almost like you just got to get out of your own way. You got to put enough good juice out there in the world and take enough bad out and then just see the world from a clear perspective, at least in these brief moments of creativity, and then things come to them. They just like they're sitting in front of the computer and bam, they got an idea for a book. Like, where the fuck is all that coming from? It seems like people always want to say it's a muse. Like, that's the Stephen Pressfield analogy. He's got a great book about it called The War of Art, all about like inviting the muse into your life and being disciplined and sitting there at the computer every day and summoning it and treating it like it's an entity. And if you do that, it works. Like, this is what's crazy. Like, people who are disciplined and also creative, like that decide, I'm going to write this book, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to force myself every day. Like, ideas come to them. Like, where the fuck are they coming from? Like, is it possible that the brain really is like some sort of an antenna, and that wisdom and love and all these different things, they're just all around us? We're just confused by our monkey bodies.
Well, do you think we're getting that information from God?
If that's what you want to call it, you know, the only problem I have with the word God, and it's not really a problem, but it's a recognition, is that it's a loaded word.
It's a loaded word, but so is love.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
So I think you just got to take the good with the bad.
Well, that's Alex Gray's position. Alex Gray says we have to take it back the same way we take back love and say God all the time. And, you know, that's what he does.
Yeah, and that's the reason I think it's good to use the word psychedelic instead of hallucinogen or
yeah, I think so too.
Entheogen or anything like that.
Entheogen's a cool word.
It's cool. It assumes a lot, though.
Yeah, it's like people that call weed cannabis.
Yeah.
You know, I like to smoke a lot of cannabis. Like, okay, settle down, buddy.
Yeah, like the term entheogen, it refers to God, theos, and it refers to en, which means that God exists within.
Mm-hmm.
And it has the word gen in it, which means it's a drug which is generating something like God. You know, so that assumes a lot. And there are people who could benefit from psychedelic experiences who might not cotton to those ideas and would avoid an entheogen, but might take a psychedelic.
Yeah, I think psychedelic sounds manageable, and entheogen sounds like you're joining a cult.
It's a bit cultish.
Well, isn't everything a bit cultish? It seems like whenever anything, you know, really affects people in a lot of ways, there's always someone who looks to sort of take the reins and sort of dictate what the experience is and how to do it and what the ritual should be and how you should, you know, manage it. And it gets culty.
It gets culty, but I think you could, decultify it to some extent.